Hyperbolas, 7.2. So that's all you need to know about. You just need to know how to graph those, calculate the focus and center, and these endpoints of the vertices is what they're really called of the ellipse. Hyperbolas. This is your standard form. And there's two cases. So the difference is now that one has a negative. So if the negative is with y, then it's going to open like this. Okay? If the negative is with the x, then it's going to open up and down. So, or another way to think of it is, wherever it's positive, that's how it opens. Okay, positive, then it opens on the y. Okay, so that's the idea. Okay, let's do a graph of this one. It's a very similar setup. It's almost the same concept. So I went ahead and shifted this one though. So your center is 4, -3. So 4, -3. And then root and root, you get 3 and 2. So from the center, you're going to count 1, 2, 3 units, 1, 2, 3 units, up 1, 2, down 1, 2, and that gives you where to put the box. You do the box again, like that. So you do that whole thing, just like an ellipse. And then you connect with a line. You just do it dotted because it's not part of the graph. You do a dotted line connecting the corners of the box you just drew, rectangle. So you do those two lines, and that's what the graph is asymptotic to. So once you do the lines, then it only touches along the axis that's positive. So here's a positive x, so it's going to open this way, right, and this way. So you go to where that point is at the corner of that box, right there and there. And usually it's easy to count off. So you want to label those. So we were at, so you want to know those points. So you were at 4, -3, right? So here's 4 and then -3. And then you count 1, 2, we just did that, right? So 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's +1. Okay, that's actually +1. I just saw that. Okay, so it's +1, -3. All right, so once you have that, then you can draw in your graph. So your graph basically kind of looks like a parabola, but it's asymptotic to that line, like that. And then you go like that. Similarly from here, you go up and don't cross the line like that. Make it get close and then do a little arrow like that. Make it get close and then do the arrow. The foci you can calculate. You just put a plus in the middle because it's not, the focus isn't here, it's on the outside. So you just add those two together. All right, so it's √13, so you just count that, and that's your focus. So you do the square root of 13, get that value, and put a dot. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's probably, it's not 4 times 4. It's going to be 3 point something times 3 points, because 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. So it's got to be 3 point something to give you 13. Okay, so it's got to be in there. All right, and this one looks like I didn't label. We can label that. So that focus, what is it in green? So focus is going to be, you were at 4, so you add √13. So it's 4 plus √13, and then you're down at -3. And then it's 4 minus √13, and you're down at -3. So you just count off from the center. Okay, let's do one together, and that'll be it for chapter 7. Write in standard form and graph. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So we got to complete the square on this again. So do the same process, maybe try it. Okay, so try this one. Okay, you try it. So you want to group the x values together, group the y values together, and then complete the square. Okay, so coming back, let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to say negative 4x squared minus 40x plus 5y squared minus 80y equal to negative 200. Factor out the constant. So negative 4 becomes x squared plus 10x plus something. It'll be plus 5 times y squared minus 16y plus something equal to negative 200. Okay, so now we got to complete the square on those two trinomials. So you take half of the 10 and square it and add it here. And then we add the same thing of negative 4 times that. Same idea here, half of 16 and square it, put it here. And then we add 5 times that to the other side to balance it. Okay, so 10 over 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 squared is 25. So you put 25 here. We'll do this individually now. And then 64, so you get 8 and 8 squared is 64. Actually change the color on that just for fun. Okay, so this is 64. So you actually add 4 times this over here and 5 times this over here. Okay, so 4 times 25 is 100, so it's negative 100. So you subtract 100 or add a negative 100. Okay, and then 5 times 64 is 320. Already did that. Okay, so then it factors. You get negative 4, and then it's x, and it's always sine, and then half of that. So the sign is positive, half of that is 5 squared plus 5 times, that'll be a y minus half of that is 8 squared. And then add that all up. What does that all add up to? Looks like 20. To get a 20 here, now you divide that out to get 1 on one side. So what's 4 20ths and 5 20ths? So you get x plus 5 squared over, and that's going to be a 5. And this is negative. Don't forget that's negative. Oops, sorry. It doesn't happen as much in this vertical format, but still happens apparently. Which I don't remember that happening in class, so it's kind of weird. All right, then this is a 4 equal to 1. So normally we like to write the negative in the middle. So how is this going to open once you graph it? Okay, so you get that. Minus squared and then over 5. All right. So our what's underneath y is b equal to 2, a equal to root 5. Okay, so and then what's our center? Our center is negative 5, 8, right? So you still got to go with your x and then your y. So negative 5 makes this 0, and 8 makes this 0. that's all the info we need, unless they ask for focus, but I'm not this time. So, draw on our graph. Here and here. This is the last example, so I'll leave plenty of space. Why not? So it's -5, 8 is our center. So you count 1, so 0, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's right there. Gotta do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's our center. And then we count from there √5 left to right and 2 up or down. Okay, so √5, we already calculated that. It's just 2 point something. Where'd it go? 2.24, so just go to 2.3 and then put a dot, basically. So 1, 2, and then down 1, 2, and then 1, 2 point something, and then 1, 2 point something. So here's our, this is where a straight edge actually is a lot easier to use than this, because the way the lines work. All right, so you draw on your little box like this. And then this time we'll connect these, and then I'm just gonna make them dotted. So like that, and like that. It's gonna have to be close enough. Not that one though. Okay, so then I got to go back and make those dotted this time. So, and you can do that with a pencil too, is just draw a straight edge, make them straighter, and then go back and do them dotted. It's fine. Let's label. So this was -5, 10. This was -5, 6. Okay, and this was up or down. All right, so this value was, what was I at? -5. So -5 plus √5, and we were up at 8. And this was -5 minus √5, up at 8. And then to draw on our graph. So our graph, how did it open this time? Which one is negative? Negative is x, or I like to think positive actually. So the positive is on the y, so it's going to open along the y-axis like that. Okay, so now you draw in your, so it goes through here, and then it gets asymptotic, comes down, touches, and then goes like that. Made that a little sharp, but that's okay. It's nice and smooth. Just like that. And like that. I'm actually turning the iPad to draw this because I have a hard time drawing it without turning it. You can't see that, but that's how I'm drawing it. Okay, I think that labels everything we need for this case. So unless, you can find the foci if you want for practice and all that, but that's all I'm going to ask. I'm not going to ask anything else. At most, it would be this question right here to be able to do it. So now we'll go on to the last chapter in the text.